Hellenistic philosophy refers to the schools of thought that developed in the Mediterranean region during the Hellenistic period, which spans from the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BCE to the rise of the Roman Empire around 30 BCE. This era saw the flourishing of new philosophical movements that sought to address human concerns, such as happiness, ethics, and the nature of reality, in a time of significant social and political upheaval. Key schools of Hellenistic philosophy. Stoicism. Founder Zeno of Citium, around 334 to 262 BCE. Key ideas. Stoics believed that the universe is governed by a rational principle, known as logos, and that living in accordance with nature and reason leads to virtue and happiness. They emphasized inner peace, self-control, and the importance of accepting fate with equanimity. Stoicism also stressed the idea that external events are beyond our control, but we can control our responses. Prominent figures: Zeno, Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius. Epicureanism. Founder Epicurus, around 341 to 270 BCE. Key ideas. Epicurus taught that the ultimate goal of life is to attain pleasure and avoid pain, but this pleasure was more about achieving tranquility, known as ataraxia, and freedom from fear. He believed in the importance of friendships, simple living, and that the gods were indifferent to human affairs. Epicurus also argued that death should not be feared because it simply marks the end of consciousness. Prominent figures: Epicurus, Lucretius. Skepticism. The founders of this school were Pyrrho of Elis, who lived around 360 to 270 BCE, and later, Sextus Empiricus. Skepticism emphasized doubt and the suspension of judgment. Pyrrhonian skeptics argued that we can never attain certainty, and that by suspending judgment, we can achieve peace of mind or ataraxia. Skepticism often critiqued the claims of other philosophical schools that claim to have found certain knowledge. Cynicism. The founder of Cynicism was Antisthenes, who lived around 445 to 365 BCE. He was a disciple of Socrates, but the most famous cynic was Diogenes of Sinope, who lived around 412 to 323 BCE. Cynicism advocated for a life of simplicity and self-sufficiency, rejecting societal conventions, wealth, and status. Cynics believed that living in accordance with nature, without being dependent on material goods or social expectations, was the key to happiness. Neoplatonism, which developed in the late Hellenistic era. The founder was Plotinus, who lived around 204 to 270 CE. While Neoplatonism developed later, it was heavily influenced by Hellenistic ideas. It emphasized the existence of a single transcendent source of all reality, often referred to as the One. The goal of life, according to Neoplatonists, was to return to unity with this divine source through contemplation and philosophical reflection. The impact of Hellenistic philosophy. Unlike the more theoretical approaches of earlier Greek philosophy, such as those of Plato and Aristotle, Hellenistic philosophy was primarily concerned with how individuals should live their lives in a changing and unpredictable world. Stoicism, in particular, became highly influential in Roman intellectual life, with figures like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius incorporating Stoic ideas into their works. Hellenistic philosophical ideas influenced later Western thought, including the development of Christian theology and modern ethics. Stoicism, for example, has experienced a resurgence in contemporary self-help and mindfulness practices. These schools offered various answers to the existential questions of the time and laid the groundwork for much of Western philosophical thought that followed.